Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John with Flippin' Ain't Easy, and I'm trying something new with this video. This is the first video I've ever made where I didn't have an introduction, and I know that for some people we're kind of turned off on the whole intro that I used to use, or I have used up to this point. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I continue doing what I do, or do you guys prefer to have just me to come on in without any kind of intro or teaser to the actual content of the video? Now, a couple things I wanted to kind of talk about today. Friday, we had a live stream that talked about account health. And as I've been looking at a lot of the community boards, like the Facebook boards, I know a lot of people don't like to be bothered with them, but there are real sellers on those boards that are dealing with real problems that they encounter. And as seasoned sellers, a lot of us are on there and we give the best advice that we can. And I continue to see instances where, and this must be like newer sellers or sellers who do not do a whole lot of sales on eBay, they continue to say something like, I got a return from this buyer, they sent it back, and eBay stepped in and gave them a full refund. Or I got a return request from this buyer, and eBay just gave them their money back, so they got to keep the item. In both cases, whenever eBay steps in, if there is a date, and every time there's a return request, there's a date, usually about 3 days after you receive the return request, you need to act on that, and you need to follow through and make sure that you send the buyer a return label and or approve the return. And of course, once the return gets there, you need to act on it within about, I think it's also like 3 to 4 business days, where you need to act on that return, because if you don't, eBay is going to step in. And of course, it may seem like the easy way to do it. eBay steps in and the money's refunded on your behalf, right? So you don't really have to do anything, but that's the wrong way to look at it, because if eBay steps in, you're on the hook, well, for the return, of course, but you're on the hook for a defect. And that's not good, guys. Defects aren't good. In fact, what I have actually kind of learned is, if you hang on, if you sit on that return, if you don't get to that return in a timely manner, and from what I think, of course, nobody knows the answer here to the algorithm, but I'm always looking at the algorithm when I do things on eBay. How does my behavior as a seller affect the algorithm on eBay? So if I get this return and I just sit on it for a few days, I've noticed that when I've done that, my sales are just crap, right? Or worse than usually ever. And that happened to me the last return that I accepted, and I kind of just sat on it over the weekend, and then Monday I received it Friday, and then Monday I processed the return and things went back to normal. Maybe that's just me looking at it like in the eyes of just a seller who notices things and wonders if that has any impact on my performance. It may not have any impact at all. But if you wait beyond that 3-day period to process that return, the buyer can ask eBay to step in, and once they do, it's going to hurt your account more than anything. You get enough of these defects on your account, and it's going to bring you down from top rated down to above standard. And if you're at above standard, it's going to bring you down to the lowest level, and you don't want to be there. And so this word of advice that I see many people posting: don't shy away from returns. Yes, they suck. Yes, they're painful, especially when you relied on the money, with the return. One thing you have to consider is, the buyer has 30 days to return your item if you have 30-day returns. And even though the money may have been deposited in your bank account, that money really isn't yours until that time is up. And then if the buyer wants to submit a return request beyond the 30 days, you're within your rights to decline, which is what I do, because I feel like the return process is a very generous return policy that eBay has implemented. So for me, it's try to process the return as quickly as I can. and just be patient. Continue to do the things that you do. Just know that the buyer does have 30 days. And, while we would rather have a Mercari or Poshmark type return policy, if you're selling on eBay, you're playing within eBay's sandbox, and you need to abide by their rules. And I hate to be the guy that always says this, but I see so many sellers that want so badly to avoid returns. They have no returns as a return policy. Well, there's no such thing as no returns as a return policy when a buyer can open up an INAD, item not as described, and make up anything. There could be nothing wrong with the item. They can make up whatever they want. And eBay is always going to side with the buyer when it comes to returns. And as sellers, we have to, I'd say, have the mindset where we embrace that and look at it as, well, you know what? I can always get the item back. Hopefully it's in the same condition, right? Because, of course, if it's not, then you can deduct up to 50% on their refund. And if we get it back, just list it as if nothing happened. But I think some people get so reliant. Of course, yeah, I can understand you get reliant upon this money because this money is your livelihood, right? But you can't look at any item you've sold within the last 30 days as money that is owed to you or your money just yet. It doesn't really become your money until that item is beyond the 30-day return window. And that's kind of, I think, the mindset where a lot of people need to look at. And when you get that return request, jump on it. Don't let anything time out, because that's the worst thing that you can allow to happen. So I want to know what you think on that. Comment down below. So guys, I got a sale, at least I thought I got a sale this morning. It happened to be, I received a $20 offer on a $44 pair of shoes. I told them to, I'd meet them halfway at 32 as a counter offer. And this morning I woke up and received a counter offer for 34. And of course, when you're doing anything, when you first wake up in the morning, it's, you just kind of are on autopilot, and I accepted the offer. And I went into Poshmark because I had it cross-posted over to Poshmark, and I removed the item. But now there's two ways, and this is one thing I want to talk to you guys about, because I think there's some that may not know this, especially some that are new to cross-posting to Poshmark. There's two ways to effectively delete your item from Poshmark. One way totally deletes the item, okay, and the other way makes it so that the item is still there, but it's not for sale. And the reason why this is important is because as soon as I accepted this offer, I went over to delete the item, but I went in and I used the second option, which is you go into you edit the item in Poshmark, and you go over and you select item not for sale, because it currently is in a for sale status. So the drop down should give you another option to say item not for sale. And then you go in and launch the listing under that status, item not for sale. So in this case, I'm glad I did, because shortly thereafter I received a request to cancel the sale. The person said they ordered by mistake. They probably meant to counter me at 24 instead of 34 is probably what happened. But either way, I wouldn't have made a sale for 24 on that pair of shoes. And I went in and accepted the cancellation and relisted the item. And I went back into Poshmark, and it was just simply a matter of finding the item in my closet, using the drop down and changing it for item not for sale to item for sale, and then launching it. Had I used the other route, because the other route, there's a delete option, it would have wiped out the listing, and I would have had to go through the cross-posting process to relist that item, and it would have just taken way too much time. So my advice to you is, and it kind of falls in line with that 30-day thing we were talking about. If you're selling items on both eBay and Poshmark, and you sell something on eBay, okay, go in and just change it to item not for sale. Allow that to sit in your closet in that status until the eBay listing is closed, after the 30 days has passed, so they can't return the item on eBay. Once you've confirmed you're not getting that item back, then go back into your closet and just clean it up, and any items you have that are beyond the 30-day sale window on eBay, just go ahead and delete altogether. Or do nothing. But I find that it's less painful when you get someone who wants to cancel or returns your item for, you know, no real good reason. It's perfectly fine, and you don't want to go through the process of putting that all that information back in essentially a new listing when you can just keep it hidden in your Poshmark closet and not have to deal with the headaches of buyers who can't make up their mind, you know, or claim that, you know, they made a mistake when they bought your item, or they want to do a remorse return, that type of thing. So hopefully there's a lot of good things here. Just wanted to drop a video for you guys. I really want to know, for those who've been with me for a long time, would you like the little teaser and then the intro, or do you like this format? So let me know down below. But guys, returns, cancellations, all these things, sellers need to be on top of it. And if you're not, you could find yourself either doing extra work or having unnecessary defects on your account. But dealing with these issues is just yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And YouTube thinks you're going to like one of these videos. Check one of them out. But until then, we'll see you on the next live or on the next video. Take care, everyone.